They know it's yours. Those 4 words changed everything as they echoed through the conference room. I stood frozen, watching my boss's face drain of color as the CEO walked in with my original presentation in hand. My name is Daniel Cooper, and 1 week ago I was just another cog in the corporate machine at Nexus Technologies, dedicated, reliable, invisible. I'd spent 7 years building analytics systems nobody understood but everybody relied on. 7 years of showing up early and leaving late. 7 years of being the guy who fixed problems before anyone knew they existed. And what did it get me? A cubicle with a broken chair and a boss who couldn't remember if my name was Daniel or David half the time. That Monday started like any other. Coffee stain on my tie, subway delay, email inbox exploding. But then came the company-wide memo. The board was considering massive budget cuts, and each department had 1 week to justify its existence. Cooper, Mark Jennings, my department head, barked across the office. My office, now. Mark was everything I wasn't. Tall, confident, Harvard MBA, custom suits, the kind of guy who played golf with executives on weekends and somehow never seemed to actually work. We need something for the board meeting, he said, not looking up from his phone. Something that shows why analytics deserves more funding, not less. You understand the technical stuff. Figure it out. I've actually been working on a new predictive model that could— Great, he cut me off. Just have something on my desk by Friday. Make it simple enough that even the board can understand it. I nodded, used to being dismissed. But this time was different. This time I had something revolutionary. For months, I'd been secretly developing a customer behavior prediction system that could increase sales by 34%. Not just theories, I had tested it on historical data. It worked. It was my masterpiece. I spent 4 sleepless nights refining my presentation. Perfect slides, airtight data, even practiced in front of my bathroom mirror until my roommate Sam thought I'd lost my mind. This could be it, Sam, I told him Thursday night. My ticket out of invisibility. Friday morning, I placed my presentation on Mark's desk. 52 pages of brilliance bound in a sleek folder with supporting data on a flash drive. What's this? He asked, barely glancing up. The board presentation. My predictive analytics model could transform how we— Right. I'll look it over this weekend. The weekend passed, then Monday. No word from Mark. Tuesday morning, I found a company-wide email in my inbox. Subject: Board meeting, Thursday 10 a.m. The presenter? Mark Jennings. My stomach dropped. I speed walked to his office, but his assistant said he was in meetings all day. Same story Wednesday. By Wednesday night, panic set in. I emailed him. Any feedback on my presentation materials? His reply came at 11:48 p.m. Making final adjustments. Good work. Thursday morning arrived. The office buzzed with tension. Budget cuts meant layoffs, and everyone knew it. I arrived early hoping to catch Mark, but his office remained empty until 9:45. When he finally appeared, he was wearing his power suit, the one reserved for important meetings. Under his arm was a presentation folder that looked suspiciously like mine. Mark, about the presentation. Can't talk now, Cooper, board's waiting. He brushed past me. But that's my work, my model, my— He turned, his face hardening. Your work, you're an employee here. Everything you do belongs to the company, and I'm the department head. I decide who presents what. But, look, you're good with numbers, not people. The board doesn't want to hear from some back-office analyst. They need confidence, presence. He straightened his tie. Stay in your lane, Cooper. I stood there speechless as he walked away. 15 minutes later, I watched through the glass walls of the conference room as Mark distributed copies of my presentation, with his name on the cover. The blood pounded in my ears. 7 years of invisibility. 7 years of good job pats on the back while others took credit. Not this time, not with this. This was mine. I slipped away to my desk, hands shaking as I opened my computer. I still had one card to play, one nuclear option. 2 months earlier, I discovered something while running system tests. Mark had been falsifying departmental performance reports, making minor adjustments to make himself look better. Nothing massive, but enough to boost his bonuses. I'd saved the evidence, not sure what to do with it. Now I knew. I composed an email to CEO Patricia Winters, attaching both the evidence of Mark's number fudging and my original presentation draft. Date stamped 5 days earlier. Subject line, urgent presentation fraud and financial discrepancies. My finger hovered over the send button. This would end Mark's career. Possibly mine too. Was I ready for that? The conference room erupted in applause. Through the glass, I could see Mark beaming, accepting congratulations for my work. I hit send. Then I waited, stomach churning, as Mark continued his presentation. 10 minutes passed. 15. Had Patricia even seen my email? Then the conference room door opened. Patricia Winters walked in, tablet in hand, her face a mask of controlled fury. Behind her was Thomas Chen from Internal Audit carrying folders. Mark faltered mid-sentence. Patricia, I was just explaining the new predictive model that my team and I— They know it's yours, said a voice behind me. I turned to find Lisa from legal standing there. Patricia wants you in the meeting, now. The next 5 minutes were the longest of my life. Walking into that room, feeling every eye turn to me, seeing Mark's confusion turn to realization, then panic. Patricia didn't waste words. Mr. Jennings, we'll discuss your situation separately. For now, I'd like Mr. Cooper to continue the presentation since he developed this model. Mark stammered, There's been a misunderstanding. The timestamps on the files and your email exchanges aren't ambiguous, Thomas Chen said quietly. Please, take a seat, Mark. And just like that, I was standing at the head of the table, facing the entire board of directors, expected to present the most important work of my career with zero preparation. I took a deep breath. Good morning. My name is Daniel Cooper, Analytics Systems Developer. What you're about to see will change how we understand our customers. For the next 40 minutes, I walked them through my model. No notes, no script, just pure passion for the system I'd built. I showed them how it predicted customer behavior patterns, how it could tailor marketing in real time, how it could save the company millions while increasing revenue. When I finished, the room was silent. Then CFO Richard Baxter leaned forward. You developed this alone? While performing your regular duties? Yes, sir. Nights and weekends, mostly. Patricia exchanged glances with the board members. Mr. Cooper, would you step outside for a moment? I waited in the hallway, certain I'd just committed career suicide. Even if they loved the model, I'd just gotten my boss in serious trouble. No one would want to work with me after this. 10 minutes later, Patricia emerged. Walk with me, Daniel. We headed toward her office, passing Mark being escorted to HR by Thomas Chen. He wouldn't meet my eyes. Inside her office, Patricia closed the door. That was quite a morning. I'm sorry for the disruption, I said. I just couldn't— Don't apologize for integrity, she interrupted. Mark has been problematic for some time. We just lacked concrete evidence. She sat behind her desk. Your model is impressive. The board wants to implement it immediately. Which brings me to my question. The analytics director position is now vacant. Are you interested? My mind reeled. Director? But I've never managed a team. You've never been given the chance. Technical skills can be taught. Integrity and innovation can't. She slid a folder across the desk. This is the compensation package. Review it, but I need your answer by tomorrow. I opened the folder. The salary was triple what I currently made. One more thing, Patricia said. The board wants to establish an innovation division. Your model would be its first project. You'd have resources, a team, and direct board access. I left her office in a daze. By the time I reached my desk, word had spread. Colleagues who'd barely acknowledged me for years suddenly wanted to chat. My phone buzzed with messages from upper management who'd never known my name before. Sam texted, Dude, heard what happened. Office legend status achieved. That night, I couldn't sleep. Everything had changed in a single day. I'd gone from invisible to indispensable, but a nagging thought kept me awake. Had I done the right thing? Mark was facing termination because of me. The next morning, I arrived early. The office felt different. Or maybe I was different. As I passed Mark's now empty office, I noticed someone inside, Mark himself, packing his things into a cardboard box. I hesitated, then knocked on the open door. He looked up, his face hardening. Come to gloat? No, I said. I came to say I'm sorry it ended this way. Save it, he snapped. You had your knife ready for years, waiting for the perfect moment. That's not true. I respected you. I just wanted recognition for my work. He laughed bitterly. Recognition? In this business? Grow up, Cooper. It's about who sells the idea, not who has it. Maybe that's the problem, I said quietly. He stared at me, then shook his head. You know what's funny? I was going to give you a promotion next month, senior analyst, nice raise, corner cubicle. But not credit for my work. Credit doesn't pay mortgages. He closed his box. Enjoy the director's chair, Cooper. Just remember, someone's always waiting to take it from you. I watched him leave, feeling hollow despite my victory. Then I walked to Patricia's office to accept the position. The next weeks were a whirlwind. I assembled a team of the brightest analysts and developers. We expanded my model, refined it, integrated it across departments. Early results exceeded even my projections. 1 month after the infamous board meeting, Patricia called me to her office. The board is impressed, she said. The model has already increased conversion rates by 22%. They want you to present at the annual shareholder meeting next week. My first instinct was panic. Shareholders? That's hundreds of people, including the people who decide the company's future and yours. She studied me. You're not Mark, Daniel. You don't need to pretend or take credit for others' work. Just be the person who created that brilliant model. The day of the shareholder meeting arrived. As I waited backstage, adjusting my new suit, Sam had insisted I upgrade my wardrobe, my phone buzzed with a text from an unknown number. Don't choke. Someone's always waiting to replace you. Mark. Still bitter, still trying to get in my head. I put the phone away, refusing to let him rattle me. When Patricia introduced me, I walked onto the stage facing 500 of the most influential people in the industry. My slides appeared on the massive screen behind me. Good afternoon, I began. My name is Daniel Cooper, Director of Analytics and Innovation at Nexus Technologies. But more importantly, I'm someone who believes in the power of the overlooked. For the next 30 minutes, I didn't just present data, I told a story about hidden patterns in customer behavior, about untapped potential, about seeing value where others saw only numbers. When I finished, the applause was immediate and thunderous. As I left the stage, Patricia was waiting, beaming. That, she said, is why you're in that chair and Mark isn't. At the reception afterward, I was surrounded by shareholders and industry leaders, all wanting to discuss the model. As I answered questions, I noticed a familiar figure across the room. Mark, looking older somehow, speaking with a representative from Nexus's main competitor. Our eyes met briefly. He raised his glass in a mock toast, then turned away. Later that evening, as the event wound down, Patricia pulled me aside. Mark's been hired by Vortex Corp, she said. They'll try to replicate your model. They can try, I replied, but we're already working on version 2.0. She smiled. That's what I wanted to hear. By the way, the board approved your team expansion and the additional funding. 6 months later, my model had transformed Nexus. Revenue up 40%. Customer retention improved by 27%. My team had tripled in size, and I'd been promoted to Executive Vice President of Innovation. I still arrived early and left late. Still fixed problems before others saw them coming. But now people knew my name. My ideas were heard. My work recognized. One rainy Tuesday, I was reviewing applications for a new analyst position when a resume caught my eye. Samuel Wright, fresh MBA graduate, limited experience but impressive recommendations. Sam, my roommate, who'd supported me through the whole Mark fiasco, had finally finished his degree. I'd promised to consider him for a position, but had told him I couldn't show favoritism. His application had come through the proper channels, and his interview scores from HR were excellent, but hiring him would raise eyebrows. As I debated, my office door opened. Patricia walked in with our chief legal officer. Daniel, we have a situation, she said, her expression grim. Vortex Corp is launching a predictive analytics platform next week. Their press release makes it sound remarkably similar to ours. Mark, I said, understanding immediately. Almost certainly. We need to know how much he took, what they've replicated, and how to respond. She placed a folder on my desk. Legal is preparing cease and desist orders, but we need your technical assessment. I spent the next 3 days analyzing Vortex Corp's available information. Their system was similar to our original model, the one Mark had presented, but lacked the refinements we'd developed since. They're 6 months behind us, I told Patricia, but they're moving fast. Options? She asked. I thought about Mark, about what he'd done, about how easy it would be to crush him now. I had the resources, the team, the authority. But then I remembered standing in his office as he packed his things. The bitterness, the cycle of revenge and ambition that had consumed him. We accelerate, I said. Release version 2.0 immediately, then fast-track 3.0. Stay so far ahead they can't catch up by copying. Not legal action? Let legal handle the obvious infringements. But our best defense is innovation. Besides, I added, success is the best revenge. She nodded slowly. Make it happen. After she left, I returned to Sam's application. I thought about Mark's words. Someone's always waiting to take it from you. Was that true? Would Sam, my friend, someday try to claim credit for my work? Would I become Mark, suspicious, protective, seeing threats everywhere? I picked up the phone and called Sam. I've reviewed your application, I said when he answered. And? He sounded nervous. You're qualified, your recommendations are excellent, but I can't hire you for my team. Silence, then. I understand. It would look like favoritism. No, that's not it. I took a deep breath. I'm recommending you for the strategy development team. They need someone with your skills, and you'd be working directly with the COO. It's a better opportunity. Are you serious? That's incredible. You earned it, Sam. Your application stood on its own merits. After we hung up, I sat back, thinking about the journey that had brought me here. From invisible analyst to executive. From stolen presentation to industry leadership. The following week, Vortex Corp launched their platform. The same day, we released version 2.0 of ours. With features they couldn't match, our stock jumped 12%. Theirs fell 8%. I received another text from Mark. This isn't over. I didn't respond. There was nothing to say. We'd both chosen our paths. 3 months later, I was presenting our quarterly results to the board when my assistant interrupted with an urgent message. Mark Jennings was in the lobby, insisting on seeing me. Tell him I'm in a meeting, I said. He says it's about Vortex Corp's new direction. Says you'll want to hear this. Curious, I excused myself. In the lobby stood Mark, looking haggard, his expensive suit slightly rumpled. 5 minutes, I said, leading him to a conference room. Once the door closed, he got straight to the point. Vortex Corp is abandoning the analytics platform. Too far behind, too expensive to catch up. And you're telling me this because they're pivoting to acquisition. They're making a play for Nexus, hostile takeover. I thought you should know. I studied him, looking for deception. Why warn me? You hate me. He laughed tiredly. I don't hate you, Cooper. I hate what happened. There's a difference. He stood to leave. Consider us even now. After he left, I immediately took the information to Patricia. Our security team confirmed it. Vortex Corp had been quietly acquiring Nexus shares through shell companies. Why would Mark warn us? Patricia wondered. Maybe he found his conscience, I suggested. Or maybe he just wanted to be on the winning side for once. Thanks to Mark's warning, we were prepared when Vortex Corp made their move. We countered with a poison pill strategy and accelerated our innovation timeline. 6 weeks later, Vortex Corp withdrew their takeover attempt. The day we announced our victory, I received a final text from Mark. Well played. No hard feelings. I responded this time. None here either. Good luck. 1 year to the day after the infamous board presentation, I stood in the same conference room, now as Executive Vice President, addressing a team of 30 brilliant innovators, my team. Today marks an anniversary, I told them. Not just of a presentation or a promotion, but of a lesson I learned the hard way. Innovation thrives on recognition. Every person in this room has ideas worth hearing. My job isn't to take credit for your brilliance. It's to make sure your brilliance gets recognized. I introduced our newest team member, a promising analyst who reminded me of myself 7 years ago. Quiet, dedicated, full of untapped potential. The future of this company isn't in stealing ideas, I concluded. It's in nurturing them. So bring me your craziest concepts, your riskiest innovations. In this team, you'll always get credit for your work. That's my promise. As they applauded, I glanced at the empty chair where Mark once sat. I'd learned from his mistakes as much as from my own victory. In the end, it wasn't about revenge or even justice. It was about building something better from the ashes of what was broken. My name is Daniel Cooper, and I'm no longer invisible. But more importantly, I make sure nobody on my team is either. Because the most powerful idea isn't the one you claim as your own. It's the one you help others bring to life.